happening. You can see that they're still moving up here in the corner here. They're still moving, but I just have the mesh render off, and that's how it's actually gonna be. But then the arrow will be on, and the arrow will simply be following the position of the orange ball. But this looks cool. This is awesome. This is awesome. All right, so let's continue. I got a little sidetrack. That was super. I'm super excited and happy about that. Where is my? Oh, I deleted my update function, didn't I? Update. Yes. So in your update function, and yours might not have the private on it, that's fine, because boom, by default, without having the private, you're still private. I like to just have mine there for the hell of it, right? So I have a rigid body on this. So let's see if we can actually get it to move at least in the right direction, because that's step number one, right? So we can create a vector 3, as you guessed it. And we're going to say, let's just call it push. At this point, we're going to give it force. And I created a shot, what, direction? Yeah. No. Yeah, I did. Shot direction. And we'll times that by our shot power. And then, what times? I think it has to be, -1. Let's try it this way without the -1. Because I do think it has. So get components. We're going to access the rigid body. So get components, rigid body. And then rigid body has the add force function here, and here we can just throw in our push, and then there's a force mode you can use. I'm going to use a force mode. I'm going to use the impulse. I like impulse for something like this. Save, and we're actually not setting this to anything. You can see it's just here and there. I think right about here is where we just got to do that. So right after we've done most of our calculations, let me just make this bigger for you guys. There we go. So we've done most of our calculations right here. This is the hardest part of this code. The hardest part of the code is done. This is it. And I know a lot of you didn't quite get this part here, but to be honest with you, I researched it, and I'm not big on geometry. It's just kind of like how it was supposed to work. So to create that like mirror effect. So now I need to affect the wow, my head is just not, I'm not thinking. Okay. All right. So now the shoot direction. Yes. Shoot direction equals, as you can guess, vector 3. It's kind of like where we kind of like refine things. So normalize, we need the mouse point A position, right? So transform that position, and then we're going to minus the transform, so the position of this object itself. That should do it. That's how we get the direction, which makes me think I will need a negative. Let's see how it looks without it. If it works, to be honest with you, watch the player not even move. So with that said, save. Let's go back here into Unity. I'm going to click on my player, and I believe I have everything checked. Rigid body on. I might need to use gravity. We'll see. So now this and this, I click. Oh, It's not good. Ooh. Okay. What is wrong? What is wrong? That's okay. All right. It looks like it's working, but something is weird. Let's try adding the -1. Oh, I mean, it went a little too fast. I didn't even get to release. I'm putting this here in the update. Um, no, right? No. That's all wrong. So, yeah, okay, I see. It's going to the right direction with the -1, but this really needs to be the on mouse up. Yeah, so this should be the on mouse up. So when I release the mouse, let's go find out. It's compiling. Click, drag, doom. Yes! I just want to make sure all the other directions work. This way. Stop. Okay, click again this way. Click this up. Let's aim up. Let's aim that way. Dudes. So literally, all we have to do at this point is put an arrow on the orange, and there we go. Okay, and then as we expand, we make that circle we downloaded just smaller or bigger, and we can do the same for the arrow. Just make the arrow smaller or bigger according to the distance it is from the circle. So this is absolutely working. Look, like a small amount of force, right? And then, oops, still was a little too much. But you saw, that was a small amount of force. But if I drag it and drag it like this, so we're able to accurately measure that force. Awesome. A few lines of code. Sorry, the video might have been, it might be a long video. I'll break this up if I have to. So far, so good. Let's get the circle and the arrow in this, and we're good to go. Right? So why also, I just want to show you what I meant by making this independent as we did. You can see here that we can drag this out here, right? So now, if you are making an actual soccer game, you can do this, right? We can have, okay, let's put one there. Let's just put some at some random locations. Okay, right? And they're all going to use these pointers. They're all going to use the same information. So we can take him and shoot him. We can take him, shoot him. You see what I'm saying? So independent. Boom. Ooh, I miss. This is actually fun already. It's actually fun already. Boom. Right? Let's aim correctly here. See what I'm saying? So, and the arrows will be just as independent as these are. So the arrows, you'll be reusing them every time you click on something to aim and shoot. You're reusing the same arrow and the same arrow. You don't have to create one and put it inside a prefab, and so you're rendering more than one graphic at the same. You don't have to do that. I think this is a great tutorial. I think this is I'm tapping my own self on the shoulder here, but I think keeping it independent is the best way, and that's what I think, right? So, let's make the arrows. I'm gonna delete these. Let's go ahead and make the arrows. I'm going to use Should I use a 3D object or 2D? That's a really good question. Let me think about this for a second. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to use 3D. So let's see here. Some videos I've been making. I need the arrows and stuff we just downloaded. We saved them on the desktop, didn't we? Desktop. Our code and new folder. Here we are. Let me create a folder for these. So, it's not really UI, but it is some sort of GUI. Just name it images. And then I'll just bring my arrow and my circle. We'll let it know that they're going to be basically legacy shaders. Wait, is it there? Legacy 2D sprite. How does that work? Editor. Let's try that. If that's not it, then I'll change it. But I know that with that, you get rid of the white. With this, it would do the same too. You get rid of the white, but turns it more like into a sprite. And I don't need a sprite. So we'll do this for both of them. So now what I need is, what is a good, let's just get a cube. Cubes are great for this. What I'm going to do with the cube is really just make it flat. So you can see the Z here like a 0 point, 1. Even that's pretty flat. All I'm going to do is put the image on the front there. 0 point like 0, 1. And that's alright. I could probably go even flatter. Like 0.01. That's good for now. I'll duplicate this because I'm going to use one for circle and arrow. So circle. Let me change the tag because I already made it. Circle. And then arrow. And the same. The name didn't save, but now it's saved. Okay. Just disable the play for a second so I could just look at these and make sure they are indeed good. Actually, player on. Let's make sure the circle is big enough. So about 2. Yep. Yeah, let's do the same for the arrow. Let's make them both the same size. 2. Let's move this away. And now we'll just add the graphics to them. So circle gets this. And then if you go to, should be like a legacy shader that I know still works. Transparent, diffuse. Transparent diffuse is fine. Yeah, diffuse, transparent, diffuse. We'll do the same for the arrow. Legacy and transparent, diffuse. All right, let's flip it. Let's flip it. Flip it. Flip it. Flip it. Flip it. Okay, I think these all look great. And all I'm going to do with them is first, let's turn them into prefabs. And then I am going to simply move them completely out of the game's view. So when we click, we use them, and that's it. Or I can set them active when I click them. We don't need colliders on them. They're just being used for their looks. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's wrap this up. We're at the end. And as I'm dragging and doing my calculations, I guess it's right here is actually a good spot where I have the mouse. As I'm dragging and doing my calculations, we need to simply just call the arrow stuff. So, do arrow and circle stuff. Oh man, with Visual Studio, it gives you the option to kind of like right click on an error. You go to, I think it's quick action, and then we can just have it create the function for us. Create the function for us. So create the function for us. There we go. So it creates the function, it puts it right here for us. I am going to move it. Keep myself organized and put it down at the bottom. I don't think there's anything up here I need to see. Oh, and don't forget the semicolons. Everything else looks good. All right, so this is where we're going to do all that cool stuff. All right, so did we make one for the arrow? Yes, we did. And we need to access it the same way. So real quick, was it it's capital C and capital A? All right. So I'll do arrow and circle, and then you just take the name arrow, circle. So they're all four of these are independent. Again, added more players and multiplayer and all that should be completely easy because we made these independent. And again, I had no idea what Cohen, oh my gosh, I forgot your name. Something lesson 2 wanted the tutorial for, but it is being made and you better watch it. All right, so arrow equals, we're gonna basically allow it to render at this point. So if we get the component and the rendering, it should be a render. Okay, render. And we'll set it to enable equals true. So by default, we'll have it turned off. What did I do wrong? Enable equals true. Get component. Get component. Render. Dot enable equals true. Cannot specifically convert bool. Odd. Duplicate this and go circle. Game object, okay. I don't see what's wrong here. Equals true. As soon as it's dragging, we want it to be true, and then over here, we'll probably set it to false. Yeah, so on release, we're gonna set it to false. And again, I'm not sure. Why is it yelling at me? So do I say equal false? Like what's your deal? What do you mean? Make the 3D object visible. Alright, I am back and I am a complete idiot, obviously. It's not equal get component. It's usually just a dot get component because this is a game object. I've been typing too long today. Typing too long. After this, I'm going to have a nice breakfast brunch thingy and carry on with my day. All right, so we enable it, only enabling it when we're dragging and disabling it when we're not. Also by default, I should probably have them disabled. So disabled by default, boom, boom. So even though they're outside of the game and disabled, we can't see them either way if they were enabled. Okay, so it's time to calculate position. And I'm also going to put this script and this project up on my site. You guys can definitely go ahead and download it from there. So current distance, which all the calculation up top did all the cool stuff with that. Less than what again? Did it say 3? 3F. But we're using max distance, so we can modify. And I think it was working, but no, we didn't see any clamps. Okay, I'll have to check again. We can probably do it in here. The red one was going outside, like a boundaries that I thought I already created. All right, so if that is true, then our arrow dot transform dot possession possession. It's time to create some more vectors, boys. The vectors are real. Why I'm doing 2, you ask? Because I made something similar a few years, well, not even years actually. I want to say a couple of months ago. I made something similar that I wanted to do the exact same thing where a waypoint would pop up, and I find that 2 works best. Alrighty, so let me take my glasses off. Minus. It was the mouse point, actually A, because that's the opposite one. But the arrow is going to be following kind of like the waypoint, the mouse point B. Okay, so what do we need now? We got an X, we need a Y. Whew. Okay, so basically same thing. Take this, put it here too. This is our Y. This is our Y. Our Y. Why don't I do this? Why don't I okay. Why don't I just go down here for a second so it's easier to see? That is our Y, and then comma, we need our Z. And I'm trying to be consistent with that Z. I use a negative what again? 0.8. So I'm going to do a positive 0. No. A negative 1.8. Okay, and what does that do, you ask? Let's see if it works. Might need some more lines of code, but I think we should at least be able to see a quick demo. So with that selected, or play, I hit this. That is what it does. So it follows. It's the same code that's on the orange ball. It follows. Okay. If I was going this way, yeah, it's perfect. But it has to rotate as well, my friends. So let's get into that. Okay, so if the distance is blah, 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 follows, wait a minute. So if the distance is, which I have set to 3, so my distance should be working. Let me try this again. Yeah, okay. Right, okay, so it does lock at a certain distance, which it should. It stopped following though, but when I come back in, okay. I gotta fix that. No problem. The orange ball is going way out of bounds for some reason. I'll check that out. If the do that, which is cool, great, awesome, sweet. Else, did I create this vector within this? Where is it? Okay, created this vector within. Okay, because I kind of wanted to make a similar vector and give it the same name, so I'll just do it right here. I want to create this vector right here. So I was just checking to make sure it wasn't a public vector, so there will be no conflict. Okay, so that will be let's point A again, transform that position again, and then minus the position. So that's basically what I said up here, wasn't it? Could just copy the whole thing. Look, shit. When you code, don't make life harder. Make it easier. Could just copy that, and then yeah, dude. Basically, same thing, right? Need that position, okay, and then that equals that and that global. Let me get these two as well, because again, all I'm doing is changing the location of the arrow to match the B. So let's do that. And that I think I need. Okay, so the position this plus that, which is correct. Okay, I'm gonna change this. So instead of current distance, it's gonna be something called a what is it? I want to say max. I want to say the max distance. I want to say it. We're gonna do that and see how it looks. And then this, let's see. New vector. And it's not gonna be that, it's gonna be this. Arrow, position X, yep, and then arrow, position Y, and then this number has to be consistent. And that looks like a good arrow coding to me. Next will be the circle. Let's see what we got for arrow here. I gotta take care of the size and rotation shortly. But we should have a good arrow here. Let's see. Play. Shows up. It locks at that point, but it still moves, right? Not sure why my ball still goes. At least the arrows in what it's supposed to do, right? So, yes. Perfect. Locks. And phew, it's gone. Perfect. I gotta take care of the rotation as well. But that's working. It's working. All right, so let's get a little bit into the circle. Circle, as you can guess, is circle dot transform, yada yada yada. Let me grab some more. No. Circle, let's just do it. Transform that position. As you can guess, we gotta make it this position. So position, but we gotta add a new little twist to it. So vector 3, I think, make it flat. So x would be O. Put it center of the object, center on the x and y scale, and then about a 0 0.04 or so on the z scale. We want it beneath the player, if anything. That makes sense. What else we need? Direction. So let's create a vector 3. dr is good for direction. And then we always reference this mouse point A again. You see why we create it, guys? It's so useful. Not transform that position because we know that that's where the mouse is at. Position. The direction is always the mouse position minus the current object. Always. And then let's create a float for the rotation. Rotate. Rot. Let's do rot. And then some conditions now. So if the, oh boy, more geometry. If the vector 3 equals angle, return the angle in degrees. Yep, I should do it. Angle, it takes what? Vector 3, to and from. So the 2 will be dr, which we already calculate right here. Then comma this transform dot, forward. Transform dot forward. So if it's, is it more than 60? No, more than 90. So if it's more than 90 degrees, this is where we rotate. So rotation will be, we're setting up rotations. We're checking it if we if the thing rotates to a certain degree. We just want to kind of do what needs to be done. Oops, right, because then it's 90, right? Yeah, 90 is right. Boom. Rotation is set up. We need an else. So then if it's not rotating the 90 degrees right, then we're gonna obviously set it to left. So angle, and then the direction, width, of course, the same. The transform dot right. Sorry. Right, and then we just set a negative. That's all. That. And then you just times it. Again, just flip something to the opposite side, guys. It's a -1 times it by a -1, not just -1. So, which means